Okay, I'm going to do a few problems here. I'm going to start with 6.1, number 69. Using a radius of 1.2 centimeters for the average eyeball, find the central angle formed to meet the edges of an iris, the colored portion of the eye, with an arc length of 9 millimeters. So we have 1.2 centimeters and 9 millimeters. We're going to use the formula S equals R theta. We have to decide either they're both going to be centimeters or both going to be in millimeters. And so let's just go with the millimeters. So 1.2 centimeters equals 12 millimeters. So our arc length is 9 and our radius is 12. So 9 equals 12 theta, dividing theta equals 9 divided by 12, which is 3/4. So if we want this, that's in radian measure. If we want this in degrees, theta would be 3/4 radians times 180 over pi degrees. That cancels out radians. And we end up with 42.9718 degrees, which is approximately 43.0 degrees. The next problem says find the radian measure of the central angle theta given by the radius r and the arc length s transcribed by theta. Leave answers in fraction form. So S equals R theta, R equals 23.5 decimeters, and S equals 10.5 decimeters. So 10.5 equals 23.5 times theta. If we divide both sides by 23.5, we have theta equals 10.5 divided by 23.5. Now that is a correct answer, but we don't typically have decimals in our answers, so we can multiply this by 1 and not change the value of the fraction. You can multiply anything by 1 and you get what you started with. And so when I multiply by 1, I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. 2 over 2 is 1. So 10.5 times 2 is 21. 23.5 times 2 is 47. So the answer is 21 over 47 radians. Hope that makes sense. Okay, I just wrote this one up, and I'm sorry about the lines, the horizontal lines that show up. I mean, it looks like I crossed something and I didn't. It's just the way this pen reads. It thinks I'm writing when I didn't write it. So anyway. Instructions. An industrial circular saw blade has a 10-inch radius and spins at 1,000 RPMs. Find A, the angular speed of a tooth of the blade in the radians per minute, and B, the linear speed of the tooth in feet per second. So, first of all, one rotation equals 2 pi radians. So for A, we have 1,000 pi rotations per minute times 2 pi radians per rotation, and then rotations would cancel doing dimensional analysis. So that gives us 2,000 pi radians per minute. Okay, that's the first one. And then B, for our linear speed, we have 2,000 pi radians per minute times 10 inches per radius. So think of the radius, they're related. So what is a radian? It's how many radiuses are there around the circle, so those are the similar units. Times, now we've got to convert to seconds. 1 minute per 60 seconds, that gives us a way to cancel out our minutes and get seconds. Then we've got to go to feet, so times 1 foot per 12 inches. So if we multiply that all together, we end up with 87.27 feet per second. So hope that helps. Let me look and see what it looks like. Some lines in there, but hopefully it's clear enough to see. Okay. Thank you. Let me know if you have questions.